So we fly out tomorrow morning. We've now just got to fit all of our camera gear somehow into these bags. We're almost there. We've gone Sydney, Los Angeles, Anchorage.
And now we're into Nome. We've just got 6 hours to kill here in Anchorage and then home straight to Nome.
So I can't wait. Hello, bonjour monsieur.
Yay!
Looks like she survived the winter pretty well. No bad chafe marks or anything on the outside, so I guess we've got to get all our shrink wrap stuff off and have a look inside. So we can't get into our boat, we're just going to call up our friend Roland, who is looking after the boat for us, see if he has the keys. Alrighty, see if it survived the winter. Cool. Smells okay. Seems alright. There's a bit of mold and stuff on the roof. It's got a bit like bowed in. So it looks pretty good. And on the whole, there's not too much water. There's a little bit, maybe this much water in the bilge. So that's not bad.
Ooh, chocolate. I wonder if these are okay.
Being frozen in winter, they're probably okay.
Yeah. Oh, feel good.
Good to be home?
Very good to be home. I look forward to making it homely though. At the moment it's still a bit musky.
See how well the battery survived over the winter? 13 volts, wow, they're good. Great, that kept charged.
So all the cans seem to have survived really well. There's nothing kind of bloating or punctured or anything except for one Pepsi can, but it's alright, don't really need that anyway.
Still got plenty of food left over from the last time.
Heaps of food.
Better get this thing stuck back up and start getting some power from the wind. There we go. Air breeze wind turbine. Start charging the batteries again. So we've got various things we're unpacking and installing. This is our Solara field tracker. That's the little thing that sends our position back to that embedded Google Earth map on our webpage every couple of hours or whatever we set it to. All last season this speaker wasn't working at all and I couldn't for the life of me work out how to fix it, so I bought a new speaker. So I'm hoping when we plug this in we get sound coming out, which would be good. Excellent. So now we can have music outside in the cockpit when we're on watch. So I've just got to prise this one off and unscrew that and then stick the new one in and it should be plug and play. Look at that. Too easy.
So I just opened up one of the cupboards and I pulled out all like cutlery and knives and bowls and things and they're all just covered in mold. So is the entire cupboard. Gross.
Alright, so I think these are the holes that were letting in the water last season. There's quite a lot of them. And I drilled them last season just to let the water come out when we put the boat out of the water. And now that we've got to plug them up before we put the boat back in. So we've got some knead epoxy that you kind of knead together into like a putty, like blue tack. I'm going to try and squish it in there as hard as I can and then let it set. Same with all the other holes. And this is the only one that's really annoying because it's still wet. I guess it's the lowest hole and the water just kind of sits there. But this epoxy stuff goes off underwater, so it should be alright anyway. So this is a pretty bad hole here. This is the one we got when we were trying to get the boat out of the water last season and it got positioned wrong on one of the pad supports and it just went instead of being lifted nice and smoothly. So it's gone through one layer of, well, right through the fiberglass, through one layer of wood and dinged the second layer. But this boat is 6 layers of cold molded cedar, so that shouldn't actually be letting water in. But again, I'm just going to put that knead epoxy glue stuff to fill that area there and then we'll paint it with a layer of epoxy paint to try and seal that up as well. Seems to have set pretty hard, so I'm just going to sand it back and then we'll be able to put epoxy paint over the top to seal it up.
We've just got some bad chafe marks that I'm going to try and paint over with the same kind of green paint as our hull.
Propeller still turns, so the engine hasn't seized. That's good. Amazing. It feels like the most productive day ever. Now I bet you we sit here for about a month waiting to try and get put back into the water. because we never had a tachometer for our engine, we never really knew what RPM it was going at, and I never knew if we were, you know, at full throttle or not. I didn't want to blow it up, but I just had a cool idea, and I got a bike computer, little wireless bike computer, and if I set that up, it looks like, I think I've worked out that if I make it pretend the bicycle wheel is 16.6 meters circumference, then what it's showing on here is kilometers an hour should be exactly the same as engine RPM. And that'd be awesome. So we can just have a little sticker on the wall and have a live engine RPM, which is cost about $20. Awesome. So normally that little magnet would go on the bicycle wheel. So I'm going to put that on the flywheel, but it's a magnet, so it just sticks there. So that's very convenient. So that stays there. Then you've got to have this thing normally mounted just beside the bike wheel. So I've made this little mount that screws into the engine there, and then kind of just epoxy glue this little strip onto the back of that thing. And if I slide this onto that mount, do that, and then chase it up with a nut, and then another little lock nut, and just kind of hold that in there like that. And then as the engine spins around, the little magnet just passes under it. I've decided to stick a little nut on the exact opposite side of the flywheel to where we put the magnet, just to try and keep the whole thing in balance, in case when it spins really quickly, maybe that would create vibrations and stuff if we didn't balance. So we're going to check the engine works after the winter, and also at the same time test my new tachometer.
Did it work?
No. I think what happened was the magnet got thrown off from the centrifugal force. Damn. Alright, so just glued it back on. Hopefully it'll stay there now when the engine spins. Yeah, it seems to work. I thought it wasn't to begin with, but it's working. You just got to hold it close enough here. So we could see that we're doing like 1000 RPM, or... So now we can actually find out the motor's designed to go at up to 2000 RPM. So now we can actually work out where that is and check we're getting full throttle. Cool. We're only like 50 meters away from teleport back there, and there's a whole herd of muskox just down here. 6 of them. Just in amongst all the industrial stuff. 18 dogs, it's amazing.
Our friend Roland has a dog sled team that he's training for their Iditarod next year. It was great to go on a training session with them. The dogs are just so responsive. So I've just been sent heaps of charts for the Alaskan coastline, which I spent all night going through, but I just discovered all these old charts out of the lockers, and I'm going to try and roll them all up and consolidate them a little bit better.
Don't be fooled by the amount of daylight around. It's actually midnight on the morning of the 21st of June, which means it's my birthday, my 30th birthday. But being midnight, everyone else is asleep, so I think we'll celebrate in the morning. But it's still pretty cool. I'm 30 today, and I have lots of cards and presents to open, and deliveries that I'm hoping will turn up during the day as well. And we're about to have Luke over to have some pancakes for breakfast. Very exciting day.
Yum, so I'm making a birthday cake for Chris. Trying to cook it in the pressure cooker, so we'll see how it turns out. You can make money. Yeah. Oh wow. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday dear Chris. Yay. Happy birthday to you.
That's good. It's good. Pretty excited. I think this is the delivery of my quadricopter, my drone that we're hoping to put the GoPro camera on to try and get some amazing footage. Yeah, looking pretty good. That's the GoPro camera. Finally got a GoPro 3 Black. That's going to be awesome. My Phantom. Look at that. Ooh. Awesome. A set of basically virtual reality goggles with a live video stream that you can connect up to the drone, and then you can basically put these goggles on, and as you're flying the craft around, you can actually see what it can see through here and fly around and like judge how close you are to the animals or whatever it is you're filming, and try and fly it back in kind of first person view. Heaps excited about this delivery. From Troll Pro. They make it's like a towable housing for a GoPro camera. So you put the GoPro camera in there, and then you tow it behind. It's got a little weight on the bottom, so it keeps itself really steady and smooth. designed for game fishing, so you can see the fish coming up and biting the lure, but I'm hoping to use it to get some really cool footage of dolphins and whales as we go along.
So during the summer months, a lot of miners come from down south to try their luck at getting some gold along this beach, and they just build these little houses out of driftwood and tarps and anything else they can find, really.
Pretty fascinating here in Nome. All the different gold miners have their own little contraption to try and get the gold out, and they've all got their own secret ideas that are different to everyone else's. The big one there, he's got like a tractor on the front to scoop up all the gold in the sand and stuff, and then put it back onto the back platforms, and it all kind of runs down. You end up with the gold. So funny. So this is our extendable Happy Captain pole, which we're going to use to put our GoPro camera on the end of. But I've just discovered this little end bit looked like the same thread as is on the, like a painting extension thing. So that goes on there quite well. So I'm going to cut that off. And we bought a little hand mount for a GoPro camera. So I'm going to cut that off and stick that on there, and then we'll have a nice little easy way to mount the GoPro camera on and off the end of this extension pole. So I'm going to try again to see if we can get this thing to take off. On my birthday when I tried to fire it up, the GPS thing wasn't working on there, so I wasn't game to take it off, but now I've decided I've got to learn to fly it without the GPS. So I don't think we're going to go GPS here in time. So we'll see how we go. Just finished soldering together these two remote controls, so hopefully now I've built this 3D stand to hold them both at the same distance apart, and hopefully they both take a photo at the same moment. Cool. 3D photos.
So we've been in Nome for about a week now. We've just been living on our boat up on this hillside in the middle of an industrial park. It's a few miles out of town, so it's kind of annoying, and they work in the industrial park 24 hours a day because there's 24-hour daylight, so why wouldn't you? Except for the fact that it's really noisy, really loud, and super dusty all the time. But it's okay. Hopefully we'll get in the water soon.
We've just been told today is the day, and the trailer has already come in here, and we're just getting ready to try and put Teleport back in the water. So fingers crossed that it goes well and there's no crazy mishaps, and we'll be in the water by night sometime.
So we finally got back in the water last night at midnight.
Yeah, such a dodgy operation, but we used the same trailer that we made last year to get us out. And basically they had to kind of reverse this dodgy long trailer in, knocking out the supports for the boat as we go, until you get only the last little thing kind of holding the boat up, and then the trailer's there, and then you try and snug up each of those little 4 pad supports, but they totally didn't fit anything near the size of the boat, so we're there putting like increasingly bigger chunks of wood and 3 or 4 bits of wood sitting on top of each other, balancing to kind of wedge the boat here and here and here and here, and hammering and grinding and cutting, and everything seemed so precarious. Really dodgy, but in the end we kind of got the boat there and then jacked the whole thing up so we could then pull out all the bits of wood from under the boat and then lower it back down on the trailer. But then there was only like this much ground clearance between the keel and the ground, and we were slowly dragging it down this long curvy road that looked really flat.
Yeah,
until you try and drag a really long flat keel above it, and there were heaps of times where it just sits there going on the ground and then picks back up, and the whole boat's there bouncing around on all those little pads. And it's just gone midnight. We've got about another 100 metres to go. And then reversing down into the water, the cars sort of go down the hill, and stressful times. But we got it in eventually, and it's good to be here. Really, it's good. The engine worked fine, and we motored over here, and
now we're rafted up to 2 other yachts. But it looks like there's pretty bad weather for the next 6 days here in Nome, so I think we'll be here for a little while longer, but that's okay, at least we're in the water.
Yeah, so now like our plumbing works, our toilet works, we can run the engine to get electricity, and yeah, it feels like home again. Just woken up after our first night afloat here on Teleport, and I'm just going to check if there's any water that's come in. Remember last season we did have a bit of a leak, several leaks in the keel which were flowing in here, and we think we sealed them up properly, so I'm hoping that there won't be too much water here.